What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our Manchester City preview here on Anfield Agenda. The Reds travel to the Etihad to take on Pep Guardiola's side in a 4:30 kickoff. It's the last game before the November international break, and we will be live from 3:15 to take you through with our watch-along, match reaction, player ratings video, and we'll even have a late-night agenda on Sunday night as well. So over the course of this video, what I'm going to do is give you a bit of an injury update from our manager. Then we'll have a look at Manchester City's form and our recent head-to-heads with them. We'll then go through and give you my preferred 11 for the game and finish up with a score prediction. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments section about the team selection and any other topics. Drop a like on this video if you enjoy it, and of course don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Right, we've a lot to get through, so let's start off with a brief synopsis of our opponents. Manchester City lost both Premier League meetings with Liverpool last season, as many defeats as they'd suffered in the previous 12 against the Reds, winning 4 and drawing 6. Manchester City have won 10 of their last 12 Premier League games against the reigning champions, most recently a 4-1 victory against Liverpool at Anfield in February 2021. Since the start of April, Manchester City have won the most points in the Premier League with 42, winning 13 of 19 games. While they've won 9 of their 10 at the Etihad during that time. Next up, a head-to-head and recent form against Manchester City. Premier League 24-25 at the Etihad. It was Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2. And the reverse fixture, well, exactly the same scoreline. Liverpool 2, Manchester City 0. Premier League 23-24, it was Liverpool 1, Manchester City 1. And again, same story with the reverse fixture. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 at the Etihad. Recent form for City coming into this one. They had a 4-1 comprehensive victory over Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. They beat Bournemouth by 3-1 in the Premier League. In the Carabao Cup, they booked their passage to the quarterfinals with a 3-1 victory over Swansea. They did lose to Aston Villa at Villa Park 1-0 in the Premier League, and before that it was Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2 in the Champions League. So we've done our little history with our opponents. Now let's have a look at what the manager said are our injury concerns coming into this game. Well, the good news is those injuries are starting to cease. So Alexander Isak is training. How much involvement he'll have in this game, I don't really know, but he is back training, which is good news. Probably be on the bench, certainly wouldn't be expecting him to start. And of course, he's also being called up to the Swedish national team. Graham Potter's first Swedish camp, he's brought in Isak, so fingers crossed nothing injury-wise is picked up there. Curtis Jones, as we know, is back training as well, as is Stefan Bajcetic, which again is good news. Alisson we should expect back after the November international break. So apart from that, it's long-term absentee Giovanni Leone and of course Jeremy Frimpong, who is out with a hamstring injury. So that's where we're at with injuries and team fitness. Now let's have a little look at team selection. And look, I hope most people are going to agree with this team selection, because I think it's fairly self-explanatory and I think it almost picks itself. But let's have a look anyway, and we'll start off as we always like to do with the goalkeeper and the centre-backs. With Alisson out, of course, it will be Georgi Mamardashvili that continues in goal, and a centre-back pairing of Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, our captain. Fingers crossed we can make this 3 clean sheets in a row. If we can, I dare say we'll be leaving the Etihad with a point. So for me, goalkeeper and centre-backs, no real change there. Full-back positions, I mean, the big question here for me really is, who plays at left-back? We know Andy Robertson, if he plays, will have played 4 games in 13 days, which is quite a heavy workload for him. But on the other side of it, do you go with Milos Kerkez, who has been a bit rash this season and hasn't fully settled in yet? Well, the answer for me is you stick with Andy Robertson. And that's exactly what I've done here. I've gone for Robbo on the left and Bradley on the right, making the back 5 of Mamardashvili, Bradley, Konate, Virgil and Andy Robertson. So I hope you're still in agreement with me as we move into midfield, which again, I think should be fairly straightforward. So the midfield that I'd like to see is the same midfield that's played the last couple of games. Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, and of course your Standard Charter October Player of the Month, Mr. Dominik Szoboszlai, and massive congratulations to Dom on that. I don't think there's any need to mess about here with the midfield, in all honesty. The balance has looked right, the tenacity has looked right, the aggression has looked right, and the pressing has looked right over the last couple of games. Don't expect Manchester City to be playing with a low block either against us, as they're going to want to come and play. They're at home. So the midfield for me, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, and of course Dominik Szoboszlai. Now we move into the business end of the pitch, where you're all sitting at your keyboards about to write the word Chiesa, and I'd be with you. but I'm trying to be realistic in what I think is going to happen here. And as much as I would make an argument, along with many of you, that maybe Casey deserves a chance in Salah's position or somewhere else, I don't think we're going to see it. So realistically, my front line would look like this. On the left-hand side, I would keep Florian Wirtz, as maybe as bad as that sounds towards Cody Gakpo, who I don't think has done much wrong this season. Again, I think Wirtz can give us something a little bit different, so I'd have him on the left. How we eventually get him more central into that number 10 position, look, that's a headache for the manager to figure out, which I'm sure he will. And on the right-hand side, Mohamed Salah. It's a big game. You know, he didn't really hit the heights of Aston Villa against Real Madrid, but certainly didn't not show up, played decent, just a little bit selfish on occasion, if I'm being honest, and that final ball just wasn't right in 2 or 3 moments. So for me, wide position left, Wirtz, right, Salah, and now all that remains is to have a look who's through the middle. I think you know where I'm going with this, right? Of course, it's going to be Hugo Ekitike. I've really enjoyed watching Hugo settle into this Liverpool team, and I do think, yes, he might not be a goal poacher in the same sense as Alexander Isak, but he does offer something to the team. He offers a bit of dynamism, able to pick up pockets of space, drop deep, play on the shoulder, run the channel. He just occupies defenders, and I really, really do think he's been probably the quickest signing to settle of the players that we've brought in. So for me, ladies and gents, this is my 11. Georgie Marmadarsvili in goal, Conor Bradley at right back, and let's hope he can keep up the great performance that he put in against Real Madrid, pocketing Vinicius Jr. Left side, Andy Robertson. Centre-back pairing of Ibrahim Konate and Virgil van Dijk. In midfield, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai. And then up top, Salah on the right, Wirtz on the left, and Mr. Hugo Ekitike through the middle. Now, all that remains for me to do now is give you my score prediction, and well, I should probably remind you as well that Michael Oliver will be on VAR for this game, so I'm certainly not expecting many decisions to go away from Mr. Oliver in that regard, but do let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. So, score prediction. I thought long and hard about this. What's realistic? What's me just being a fan and being optimistic? And then I wondered how I'd feel with each result. Going into these 3 games, we know we needed to pick up wins. And thankfully, we have had a win against Aston Villa. We have had a win against Real Madrid, both with clean sheets. But I don't think we're going to get out of the Etihad with a clean sheet. So, trying to be realistic about it, I've gone for 1-1. Can we win the game? Absolutely. Can City win the game? Absolutely. I really don't know what to expect. So I'm going to go with 1-1. Yes, it would still drop us a couple of points further back from Arsenal if they win. But I do think it's a realistic scoreline with what we've seen so far from the Reds this season. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comment section if you agree or disagree. As I mentioned, we'll be live from 3:15 with the watch-along. We'll have a late-night agenda that night as well. As you're watching this, it will be late Friday night or Saturday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. We appreciate all of your support here on the channel. Hopefully, we can make it 3 wins out of 3 and go into this international break absolutely full of, I was going to say the joys of spring, but just the middle of the winter. Hopefully, we can get the win and make sure that we are where we want to be, ready on the shoulder of Arsenal if they make any mistakes. That's it for me, ladies and gents. Appreciate you watching. We'll talk soon. Much love. Bye-bye.